What's up, everybody? It's your favorite sorcerer's favorite nerd, and today we're talking about the Doctor Strange movie, and
it's fine.
We're just kidding. JK, bros. We're going to do a spoiler-free reaction, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're going to be brief because we're going to be doing the uncut version on Nerd Rage Radio, which is going to publish tonight. The good? Joe KW, would you like to go first? We got Joe KW and Adam Russman in the house tonight. Would you like to go first?
I think the acting was the best.
Yeah, the acting was good.
Acting. Best acting of all Marvel movies?
And it was...
Quite possibly.
It was not like one or two good actors. Everybody was good.
I'll tell you, having an actor of the caliber of Cumberbatch.
Yep. You feel like he's an actor's actor?
Well, having to do the emotional bits at the beginning, it really pays off.
Yeah. He's so natural, you don't even really notice that he's acting.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, it's
like
a hallmark. It's like a hallmark of a good actor.
It's like he's pretending.
He's not really Doctor Strange.
He's pretending to be.
Yes.
He's Benedict, Sorcerer Supreme. Benedict. He's pretending. It's an act. It's not for real.
It's confused there for a second.
Yeah. What else? Anything else, Joe? Good.
The effects. I mean, the visuals are awesome.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. It was, even though people made the jokes and such, it was more Inception-y than the trailers let on in terms of jumping from floor to side.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Jumping from floor to sidewall, back down to floor as the row was turning. There were a lot more Inception cues than just the world splitting or whatever. I'm not saying that takes away from it. I'm just saying that it is.
I mean, I guess it's visually similar.
In certain aspects.
Yeah.
Similar.
Oh, I gotta beep that out. Anyway,
I think we can let Dan.
Okay.
All right.
Too late. No, there's two.
What else? I think the acting is the strongest suit, and I think the visual effects looked great. Like when there's a character at some point that has a fall.
Yes. And
that fall is executed extremely well.
Yeah, I agree.
Falls are hard to pull off.
They're hard.
Physics. The speed.
Yeah, and I consider myself to be a fall man of sorts. Like I'm always paying attention to the different falls of characters, and that.
Dude, I wish I had the Fall Guy, theme music.
But that's one of the better falls I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's a good fall.
It was a good fall.
Beats the last scene of RoboCop.
Yes, definitely.
Oh gosh.
Dude, shout out to the guys that have hairlines like RoboCop, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, dude.
What else?
The costumes. The costumes was pretty good.
Yeah,
they worked.
They worked.
I mean, everything felt legitimate, and it felt like it was a new dimension in the Marvel films. Pun intended. But it was a good origin story.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt fulfilled.
Good. And I pretty much echo all those sentiments for the most part. I feel like people have been comparing it to Iron Man. For me, it's a lot more like Ant-Man than Iron Man, but I like it better than I like Ant-Man.
I actually never watched Ant-Man. The only one I haven't watched of the Marvel.
Really?
I think it's more Iron Man-esque because he has a similar arc as Tony Stark does.
Like he was
to get off
ego,
his
strong, and then
his Scott's was always like, I want to be with my daughter.
His arc isn't enough for me, to be honest. That's one of my bad notes. We could transition into the bad.
Sure.
Without being spoilery, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
But I think most people know the general story of Doctor Strange, and he has to be at kind of one place in his life and end up at another place in his life. And I feel like his actions make that arc, but I don't necessarily feel like his character makes that arc. I feel like in a lot of ways his character is still kind of not taking.
Well, he's definitely not the Sorcerer Supreme yet.
Correct. But I feel like he's still not taking the world, especially this new world that he's discovering, as serious as maybe he should. In terms of little lines he's saying and little jokes that he's making and such. That's something for me.
It's different than any other Doctor Strange origin stories, some of the books or the cartoons or whatever, because I think very early on he realizes his importance in doing what he needs to do, and this one is very much, I don't want to be any part about that, and it's kind of thrusted upon him, but it's done successfully. You know.
Yeah, I want to say that there's character growth. Maybe it's good that it's not to completion.
Yeah.
Like that later on, because the end credit scene, he seems a lot more serious than right before.
Yeah,
that.
That's true.
Yes.
That's
like,
true.
like some time passed, he's real serious about that shit.
Yeah.
That's true. But I, like,
time's passed. He got his glove squared away. Spoilers.
we're gonna beep all that out.
The
I
glove.
think we should beep all that out.
The globes?
Yeah, because that is a thing. Like you.
Oh, I
there's
should
a thing-
get it squared
Yeah,
away.
there's a thing for you. There's a thing for me.
I don't know.
But I think that like
His hand.
well,
He's in the same way.
no. Well, there's a sequence we went on too long.
That was a bad. One kind of psych sequence that 30 seconds too long. It was cool. It served its purpose. But at one point I was like, we'll do some other crazy. You guys ready? You guys ready? That scene.
Which sequence was it for you? For me too, but ours may have been different.
The hand bit was much.
Was it the one where she and they introduces him into?
No.
Okay, it's the other.
Yes.
Yes, me too. Me too.
I mean, that was like seconds away from each other.
Yeah, but I don't remember that. But I do.
There's a one, and then there was that one.
Yeah,
lasted too long because she even talked and then back into it.
Yeah.
It was too much. It's too much.
And I think that wraps it up.
You're ugly, Joe.
Yeah, the captain as
Did
well.
you say that?
I said I haven't been able to accept, but I haven't like dismissed them yet either.
I don't feel like that's all we're gonna see.
So that's what.
Yeah.
That's why we think that the villain would develop.
I mean, it's a force of nature that you're too big to deal with. I'm set up like Thanos. I have to do a multi-movie to get to him.
Yeah, well, the problem is once becomes the Raisin, there's no going really in a lot of ways. You know? It's just no. So if you're interested, this is just a real brief Skip Free Saturday. Have I think videos lined up for all next week, and then we're gonna down the taste, but all through next Saturday. I think I could be wrong. Better. Anyway, if you the rest of our terrific reviews, it should be on his radio podcast, which by the time that this is.
So he definitely kind of fit in that more stereotypical single arc movie role, but I do think there's some underlying things about his beef that were legitimate.
Sure.
Well,
whose beef
aspect?
Because we don't really spend as much time with the one villain and getting to know the main villain as we do kind of the villain's pawn.
Yeah, but like I wouldn't even call the villain the main villain a villain as much as just a force of nature.
But he is a villain.
Yeah,
and he is the villain.
Just like a tidal wave's a villain.
No, not the same way.
In that tidal wave movie,
not the same way.
Ewan McGregor, of course, not in the same way, but like it's in the same ballpark.
I don't feel like it's even the same sport.
I think he's doing the same thing.
Yeah, he is, but he shouldn't be. That's what I'm saying.
Like he is more like brought down to earth.
Yeah, he is. He is treated more like a tidal wave.
Yes,
and as a result, you get to know more about this henchman that who ultimately cares.
Maybe.
So, like that to me is.
I do think that it's a mechanism to see the true villain blossom later out of the continuation of the story.
Maybe, but I don't feel like there was enough blossoming.
Yeah, not yet.
I find the henchman interesting.
Yeah,
you know?
It's like what I think is going to happen is like
I found the henchman interesting enough to want to know more about but we don't really get that either.
True.
Do you remember like in the Guy Ritchie Sherlock Holmes movies?
I can't. I've seen them, but
okay.
I couldn't.
Moriarty isn't in the first movie, but he is in the first movie. He just hinted at the first movie, and like the main villain is his pawn, but you don't kind of realize he's the pawn until later.
Yeah,
this is different than that.
Yeah, because I don't feel like this is going to be.
I feel like we're
I don't know if they'll ever touch.
Story.
I don't know if they're going to touch on that in the next movie.
I don't know. They definitely.
I think it's done.
Yeah, I think so too.
No. I'm thinking. We're not. I can't say what I'm really. We'll have to say this in rage.
Okay.
I can't say because you guys are not picking up what I'm throwing down.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about somebody else.
Okay. Well,
the final end credit scene.
Yeah, but we're talking about. But we're talking about the main villain of this story.
Yeah.
Would you think there wasn't enough development of the main villain of this story? That's a fact.
Yeah, but for the henchman.
No, for the main villain.
Oh.
The henchman is ultimately not the main villain of this story. He's not. He's a tool of the main villain. He's a tool of the main threat. He is the ultimate villain of the story.
Maybe
the big one.
Maybe.
No, definitely.
Well, it could be somebody else.
I guess theoretically it could be a projection that somebody else is making, like a magical projection, but I doubt it.
No, we're I think we're out of wavelength here. We gotta wait till Nerd Rage to express it in detail because it's too deep into like spoilage, I think.
And then ugliness.
The final villain is.
He looks like
I'm not.
You can't say it's too spoilery.
No, I'm not like. I'm not completely like saying no good, but it's not good.
Oh, I bet you wonder how I knew. The final villain is also my ugly.
Literally.
A lot of people were curious, is he going to be going against Brother Voodoo? Is he going to be going against Dormammu? The answer is he goes against a giant California raisin. Just a giant, but with no arms or legs, which is, I got news for you.
Yeah, he's got an arm.
Is even more horrifying.
He's got an arm.
Yeah, but no fancy white gloves.
This is true.
More horrifying. And no sneakers, no fresh sneakers. So, that is the ugly for me. Is that. Doom, 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 doom. That Marvin Gaye record is awesome, though. Go ahead. You ugly? Do you have ugly?
Not his hands. Ooh.
Well, yeah.
I'm not using the same way.
No, I know. Well, you thought that there's a sequence that maybe went on too long. That might be.
That was a bad. There's one kind of psychedelic sequence that was like 30 seconds too long. It was cool. It was interesting. It served its purpose. But at one point I was like, we'll do some other crazy stuff. You guys ready? You guys ready? It feels like that scene.
Which psychedelic sequence was it for you? Because there was one for me too, but I think ours may have been different.
The hand bit was a little too much.
Was it the one where she initially introduces him into?
No, that's fine.
Okay, it's the other one.
Yes.
Yes, me too. Okay, yes,
yeah.
me too.
I mean, that was like 10 seconds away from each other.
Yeah, but I don't remember the time of it, but I do.
There's a one, and then there was the other one, and that one.
Yeah, the second
lasted too long because she even stopped, talked, and then like went back into it.
Yeah.
That was too much. It's too much.
And I think that wraps it up.
What about your ugly, Joe?
He said the California raisin as well.
Did you say that?
Yeah, I said I haven't be able to accept him yet, but I haven't like completely dismissed him yet either.
I kind of feel like that's all we're gonna see of him.
So that's what we think.
Yeah.
That's why we think that the villain is a little underdeveloped.
I mean, it's a force of nature that you can't. It's too big to deal with unless you set it up like Thanos. Like you have to do multi-movie to get to him.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that once the grape becomes the raisin, there's no going back. Really, in a lot of ways. Yeah. There's just no going back. So if you're interested in our spoiler, this is just a real brief thing. It's Skip Free Saturday. And we have, I think, videos lined up for all through next week, and then we're going to slow it down a taste. But all through next Saturday, I think. I could be wrong. Doesn't matter. Anyway, if you want to hear the rest of our spoilerific review,
yes.
It should be on the Nerd Rage Radio podcast, which should be up by the time that this is up.
Probably before this is up.
Probably before.
It's easier.
So if you're interested in that, kiddies, tune in. Outside of that, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.